Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a monkey cupcake topper. This tutorial can easily be translated into cookies. You can just use the same method to put on top of circular cookies. And I just think it's really cute. Cheeky monkey is quite a popular unisex. Yay, I'm doing something unisex. Quite a popular unisex theme. And, you know, I'm quite tempted to do one for Molly because she's such a cheeky little monkey. So anyway, I thought this would be really cute to do. I'm a big fan of making cupcake toppers in advance so that all you have to do is lift it on top of the cupcake. Some people like to cover the cupcake dome in fondant and do it that way. Whatever I can do in advance suits me, and then all I have to do on the day is ice and stick it on. So anyway, oh, and also, I'm sorry about this. I don't really have anywhere in my house. I don't have a nice sort of plain wall. This is the best I can do. So now I've probably brought it to your attention. You won't stop looking at it. But anyway, okay, onto the monkey. So this is drying on my board. That's what I'm doing. This is obviously the girl version. It's very simple. And it's very, very easy to do. So that's why I thought I'd do a tutorial. Okay, I've got all my fondant in here. Basically, with fondant, I'm going to call it fondant, but what I do is I buy plain fondant, and then I use my Tylose powder. There's also gum tracigate something. I think it's an Australian version. Basically, you use these powders to turn your fondant into gum paste or sugar paste, which they call in the UK. Now, you can just buy gum paste or sugar paste from your cake shop, but it's more expensive, and it's just easier I think, to get, you know, your bags of fondant and add it into the little bits that you need. So, I have my chocolate brown colour. I have a bit of pink to do that, and obviously I'm going to do some boys and some girls, so the boy ones won't have a bow on them. You could, instead of doing a bow, just use a little flower cutter and make a little blossom flower or something easy for the head. So this chocolate colour I bought with certain colours, especially brown, black and red. I buy the pre-coloured fondant. They're the only colours that I buy pre-coloured because things like red and black, they are so difficult to, you know, if you're buying white and you're trying to colour them, it's going to take a hell of a lot of colouring to get a really vibrant red or a really black. And you're going to end up using so much of your colouring, it's just an absolute waste. So this is actually chocolate flavoured fondant anyway, and I just have it left over from Molly's cake, which is why I thought I'd do these monkeys. You know, it's good to use your leftover colours. So I have that. I mixed some of the chocolate with white to get my lighter monkey colour. And so got my chocolate, I got my lighter chocolate colour, and then I have a bit of pink. Now, once you add your Tylose powder to it, keep it all, it's going to start drying, so you keep it in a Ziploc bag just to preserve it. So now I have this, the monkey is made entirely out of circles. I've shown you before when I've talked about my favourite cake decorating tools. I've shown you before that I use my circle cutters for everything. So I have my set of circle cutters, and then I also bought a set of mini circle cutters, which I bought from kitbox.co.uk because I could not find mini circle cutters in Australia, or if I could, I can't quite remember, they were too expensive. So it was cheaper for me to do that and pay for the shipping to Australia. They're obviously really light. So I have got a whole heap of circle cutters that I'm using for this. So I've got two sort of decent sized ones, and then here 3 little ones. You can try and use you know, any sort of cutter or whatever to get the circles. If you don't have a cutter set, you know, you could use the end of a straw, or you know, you can sort of try and make do, but I really recommend everyone has a set of circle cutters. I have a black edible marker, and I have some water and a paintbrush, which I'm going to use as well. And I have my bow cutter. This is a gem bow cutter, which I use all the time, just to distinguish boys and girls. And it just looks really cute. It's so easy to use, and it looks really impressive, and I just think it looks really great. So I have that as well. Okay, I also forgot to mention I've got a fondant rolling pin. This is a little one. It's fantastic for using for fondant. And these 2 modelling tools. This is the ball tool. It's got sort of 2 ball ends. And this one is just like a blunt knife tool. Okay, so You want, you don't want to roll it out paper thin, but you want a bit of thickness there so that it's going to dry nice and hard. I'm actually going to cut it out and put it straight on my baking paper, just then I can dry it, and it's, you're never going to have a problem removing it. So this is the one I've got. I just used it, sort of measured up with my cupcake liners and thought, okay, yep, this is the size I'm going to use. Use whichever size you like, but obviously, if you're doing it for a cookie, you have a bigger one. And if you're doing mini cupcakes. Now, sometimes around the sides when you do it, it gets a little bit, sometimes it just needs a bit of tidying up around the edges. So I just grab my blunt knife tool and just sort of go around and just clean it up really nicely. Okay, I'm going to let that sit there and dry. Okay. Onto the light brown. This one is starting to get a bit firm. So give it a good sort of kneading. Okay, so we're going to roll this out quite thinly for the eyes. I'm just actually rolling it in the middle. I mean, there's no particular reason. It's just sort of easier for me to do it that way. Okay, just measuring up which circle I used. Now, also put this straight on your baking paper as well and cut out your eyes. Okay, I'm going to let them sort of sit there and dry for a little while. Roll it out again, this time a little bit thicker for the nose. Sort of tidy it up around the edges. Let that sit there and dry for a little bit. Okay, while that's drying, I'm just going to make my bow. Okay. So that's the imprint we get from the cutter. I just find it's easy. I don't need the bottom part because it's not a ribbon with the like sash part, I guess you could call it, down the bottom. Okay, I'll just move that out of the way so I can show you what I've got here. Okay, so we'll just glue it together. Glue one side over. Glue the other side over. Stick it together and then Put a little bit over the top. Just let that dry. Okay, so let's start sticking everything on. Right, put the eyes on. Sort of squeeze them together just so they're, you know, fully joined. Oh, oops. So there's a bit of extra water there. Anyway, that's all right. Let's put the mouth on. Sort of bend things into shape as you are attaching them. Tidy it up as well. You see here, there's a bit too much water. Can you see that water right there? So that's a bit annoying. Be really careful you don't put too much water or edible glue there. Anyway, it's not gonna, you know,